Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be drawing sketchy faces using some pencils and for my 100-day project. So I'm starting off this page with some collage. You can see I'm not using a very clean brush, but that's how I roll. Just tearing up some bits and pieces and using some gel medium to glue them all down. I tend to do this when I'm not sure what sort of background I want. I just want something there. Quite often I'll paint over the top of it, like you'll see in this video, and I'll put stencils over it. So this is just one, it adds a little bit of texture. Two, what you can see in the background, it'll still peep through, so it's not completely covered over, but it's just adding something different in the background. If you didn't want to use collage, you could certainly use stamping or something. The paints that I'm using at the moment are the Dina Wakley acrylic paints. So I've used a bit of ocean, I think, there, and I haven't really cleaned my brush. It's still got gel medium on it, which is why it's quite open and translucent, and it also allows me fairly easily to rub the excess away to get this ghosted technique. So I work quite quickly in my journals. That paint was still quite wet when I put it down. A lot of people tend to who run into difficulties doing the ghosting technique tend to find a little bit they've left it too long to dry, so just be aware of that. It needs to be still a bit damp. To draw the face, I've just drawn sort of a U shape on my page, some shoulders, then I've divided my face into half and then quarters and then eighths. The eyes go on the half line. Quite often if your face looks a bit odd, it's usually because your eyes are too high. On the quarter line is where I've drawn the nose, and you'll see with that I drew a larger circle and two smaller circles next to it, sort of to replicate where the nostrils were going to be. Then for the lips, which are on the eighth line, I drew two smaller ovals and two larger ovals on the bottom to kind of get that curved effect. So it's all rough and ready, as the saying there, the sketched face. And I just use a Stabilo all pencil to sketch that out. One, because I can remove it pretty quickly with a wet wipe, and two, when I start adding paint to it, it automatically sort of starts to blend in and gives me some shadowy lines anyway, which I really like the effect of. It's sort of like shading for dummies, because it just happens naturally and you don't really need to worry about it. For this one, I was slightly trying to have a more realistic skin tone. So I started off with some apricot, added in some blushing, putting some fuchsia on my lips, which is quite dark, but I'll tone that down. I'm also using a little bit of the fuchsia to do some of that darker shading around the face, which is a little bit red. I probably should have gone a little bit more blue toned, but that's okay. They're not, as I always say when I'm drawing faces, it's not supposed to be a photograph, it's just a representation of. So if it looks human-like, I'm happy. And I suppose that's the way people wonder about drawing faces. Oh, I can't draw faces. I still don't consider I can draw faces. I'm just practicing still. So it's all practice. Just have a go. The one thing you will find, which is like this one, faces look really odd until the eyes are completed. So as soon as you do the eyes, it will look more realistic. Which you'll notice when the eyes go in. Some artists tend to start with the eyes first, just to help with that process, to make it look a little bit more realistic. It's totally up to you. You can certainly do that. I just tend to find I'm a bit heavy-handed when I'm painting, so I can always go back and fix it up with my paint pens afterwards. One thing that's also really important when you're doing faces or eyes in particular is putting those catch-alls, those little spots of light in there. That helps to bring the face to life a little bit. Now I'm just going back in with my Stabilo oil pencil to add a little bit more shading, and you can see my lines are really, really sketchy. I wanted it to be quite loose and pencil-like over the top. I know my nose is looking very odd at the moment, quite white, but that can all be blended in afterwards. I'm also going in with a white pencil, and this is Stabilo oil pencil as well, same as this, the blue and yellow. Oh, there you go. I'm using all of my colours with my Stabilo oil pencils. I just really like these because they're quite waxy, quite creamy. They blend together really nicely. You can see I've added in a bit more blue over the top of the red because I was just finding that a little bit too much. And I tend to like bluer toned shadows than redder toned shadows. I'm also just using some of the neon acrylic paint, which is quite quite translucent to give her cheeks. So she's sort of sitting there without any hair at the moment. The reason for that is I hate drawing hair. I'm not very good at it, so hence why I'm doing this. I did go for manic green hair. I don't know why, because I quite like how my face turned out, but there you go. I didn't actually draw in the lines to the hair first. I'm just going in now and making them really sketchy over the top, using the different colours in my Stabilo All Pencil too, just to add a little bit of shading in. So the eyes are there. I mean, the hair is there, but it's not necessarily my favourite. So you can see by adding those little catch-alls into the eyes makes a huge difference. I just put a little triangle on one side and a little dot on the other, just to balance them up. I suppose the big important part of that is wherever you put the catch-all in one eye, it needs to be the same in the other eye. So they're always parallel to each other. To finish off this page, I'm just going in with a quote. I often, particularly if I'm drawing large faces like this, will write it in the neck space because I hate drawing clothes. So having the quote there kind of fills up that space and makes it look like it's a part of the person, I suppose. So a step back does not erase the progress you have made, which I actually need to read today again. A little while on since I've done that. So quite often with the quotes that I choose, they're ones that I want to remind myself of or are important to me in my journey. And they may not necessarily relate to what's on the page, but you know, I've got the quote there too. However, it also means for this page in particular, my process in drawing faces, it's still not perfect, but it's a huge process, a step forward from where it has been in the past. So in the close-up here, you can see the scratchy sketch lines, you can see the colours in the eye, you can see where I've put in the shading. It's a really fun technique to do, and it's just practice. Practice makes progress. So if you are unsure about trying faces, just have a go. There's plenty of tutorials on the web that you can look up to help support you. Look up face mapping will help as well. Until next time, bye for now.